రెడీ. తీసుకో.
పెట్టి పిలుస్తున్నాడు పిలుస్తున్నాడు మౌస్
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Innovation Tech Community. And today we are conducting the Global AI Summit. So today our expert speaker is Abhilasha Vyas. So unfortunately, she is not coming to live right now. So she has done the recording about this particular session. I would like to play that particular recording for your reference. So you need to go through that recording. I just play that recording as well, and you can go through that, and you have to drop your queries regarding this particular session as well. And meanwhile, the Abhilasha Vyas is revert back to you, and she will connect with you, and she explained about all this unlocking the security of Microsoft AID protection, advanced machine learning things, and risk migration as well, mitigation as well. Okay, so I just present that video. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I need to share that screen as well. I think let's get started.
Hi everyone, welcome to Global AI Summit. I'm Dr. Vilasha Vyas, and today I'm delivering a session on Microsoft Entra ID Protection. We will try to understand that how Microsoft Entra ID Protection is helping us in mitigating the risk. So let's get started. data into the conditional access policies to manage the access, and also we can feed in the data to the solutions like SIM as well for the further investigation. Now, what kind of risk we are detecting? So Microsoft is continually adding and updating the detections in the catalog to protect the organization, like the behavior which we have for the uh, risky behavior which we can consider, like the anonymous IP address range or password spray attacks or the leak credentials. So during each sign in, the identity protection runs all real time sign in detection, generating a sign in session risk label and indicating that how likely the sign-in is compromised. So this is happening in the real time only, and based on this risk level, the policies are then applied to protect the users and the organization. So I will show you that how we can fit this information in the conditional access as well, how we can manage the access with the help of the identity protection risk implementation also. When we say that after detection we want to investigate the things, so for investigation, any risk which we are detecting uh, is identified and it is tracked with the reporting. So in that we are getting three key reports, and I'll show you the reports as well, even though I have a demo environment, so I'm not having much data, but I can show you the parameters based on which that report is generated. So majorly three reports which we are getting, that is risk detection. So each risk detected is reported as a risk detection. We have risky sign-ins. So risky sign-in, when we say that, is reported whenever there are one or more risk detections reported for that sign-in. In that case, that is added in the risky sign-in report. We have risky users. So when we say that risky user is reported, so when either or both of the following are true. Now, what are the following things which I'm going to share right now is that the user has one or more risky sign-ins, or the user is having one or more risk detection that are reported. So these are the two things which are making the user coming in the risky user report. Now, once you detect, you investigate. Now we have to remediate that. So we have to understand that when we are doing the detection and the investigation, we have to remediate the risk. So in that case, we have the option that we want to use for the automation, because we know that automation is very, very critical to the security. We always have to understand that human is the weakest link in the security. So we can't put it in the hand of the human completely. We have to automate the remediation. So we can enable the conditional access policy as we discussed, where we need a access control, such as we can ask for a strong authentication method, or we can ask user to perform a multi-factor authentication, or we can perform a password reset activity also for the users, those who are coming in the risky or the sign-ins are risky. So if the user is successfully complete the access control, then the risk is automatically remediated. And yes, we have the manual remediation process also. So these are the three things which are important to understand when we say the basics of the identity protection. So these are the three things which we just discussed now, that automating the detection and remediation of the identity based risk. We are investigating the risk using the data in the Microsoft Intra Admin Center, and also we are exporting the risk detection data to third-party utilities for the further analysis. So as we discussed that identity protection using the knowledge which Microsoft is having and gain from its position in the organization with Microsoft Entra ID and the consumer space with Microsoft accounts. So Microsoft is analyzing around 6.5 trillion signals per day to identify and protect users from the threats, and the signals which are generated by and fed into identity protection, we can again use in different tools with different investigation. So, but the major thing which we need to take out is that we have to have Microsoft Intra ID P2 license, for identity protection in many cases. So we will be discussing that in detail in the upcoming slide. So let's have a discussion on three aspects which we just have discussed on the basics of this particular topic part. So the first is risk detection, remediation, and the investigation. So these are the common risks detected and remediated. We have anonymous IP address or atypical travel. So, for example, like you are accessing from the Tor browser, you are using anonymizer via VPN. So these are the things, all internal programs and the algorithms which are defined. We are not detecting it manually. So then we have atypical travel. You are signing from atypical location based on the user's recent sign in. Like I'm signing in, let's say from today, Bangalore. Now after a few seconds, that is kind of a atypical travel, which is not. We have malware linked IPs where we have unfamiliar sign in properties where we have not seen that kind of pattern. You are signing in a different time zone, so that is also considered as a risk. So we are creating the flag for all such cases because uh, Microsoft is completely working on a zero trust policy where every signal, every access is considered as a, it is coming for a some kind of attack, or it is having a malicious intention. So when we have such kind of are secure from every request which is coming for any. This particular risk is detected and it is indicating that the user's valid credentials have been leaked. And you are seeing those leaked credentials in some databases. We have password spray also, like which indicates that multiple usernames are being attacked using the common password in a unified brute force manner. So that is also considered as a risk. And we have intra-threat intelligence also, where we have sources of the Microsoft internal and external threat intelligence, which are helping us in identifying the known attack patterns. And also a new country is there. So that is also discovered and identified. So these are the risks which are detected and these are the risks which are identified. So any activity or any kind of suspicious inbox forwarding if you are doing, so that is also coming. So these risk signals can trigger the remediate efforts, like we can have, as I discussed earlier also, that we can ask user to perform the intra multi-factor authentication. We can ask them to reset their password using the self-service password reset. If you have enabled that, we can block the user until the administrative authority can take any action. And we have risky labels as well in the identity protection, because based on these risky labels, we can automate the process of the remediation. So these are the three risks: low, medium, and high. So when I'll be giving a demo, I will demonstrate as well that how these users will be assigned for the low risk or the medium risk. So we don't have that specific information that risk, how this is calculated by the Microsoft, but every level is having a different kind of a confidence that the user is or the sign in, that's unfamiliar sign in properties. So what happen is a user is threatening as a leak credentials for the another user or something like that. That can also be considered. So every level we have to understand that represents a higher sign that okay, this is higher chances of the user coming in the risk, or this is a sign in risks which are coming. So that kind of thing we can manage and we can assign it. So if you see the slide which is showing the licensing for the identity protection, so here if you see in the first column we have capability, then we have Microsoft Entra ID free or Microsoft 365 app, what kind of features you have with this license. what features you have with premium P1 license, what features you have for P2 license. So Microsoft Intra identity protection requires a Intra ID P2 license, but we have some limited security reporting is also available, that is free of charge in Microsoft Intra ID M365 and the Microsoft Intra ID P1 license. So this is what is mentioned in the slide, if you see that. So user sign-in risk policy via identity protection is not available in Intra ID free license. This is also not available, but if you see the P2 license, it is having all yes. When you see that risk reports which are coming, as I discussed, the three reports we are getting: risky users, risky sign-ins, risk detection. So in these three type of reports, if you see that some licenses are giving limited information. So when we say risky users, Microsoft Intra ID free or M365 limited information, so only users are given for the low, and you don't have any risk history or something like that as well. And if we say that P1 license, that is limited information, means only users again with medium or high risk are shown. When we say risk is sign in limited information, it means there is no risk detail or risk level is shown. Only the report is coming with the risky sign. If you say for P1, again the same thing, that you have a risk detail or risk level. When we say risk detection limited information for P1, that there is no details drawn which is given over there. So that is the thing we have with licensing for identity protection. So if we go deep dive and we see that what all permissions I think the users are requiring. So users need to be security reader, user need to be security operator or security administrator or global reader or global admin to access the identity protection. So here if you see the roles are mentioned, and we have mentioned that what this role can do, what this role cannot do. So if you see the global admin is having full access to identity protection and can do everything. So the demo account which I have created, I'm the global admin for that particular tenant. So I have full access to the actions which I can do or the permissions, full permissions I have. Security admin is again having a full access, but security user will not be able to reset the password for the user. So these are the few things which we have on this. But for this, we need to have a P2 license, which we need to always remember. Then how we can implement and manage user risk policy. So let me bring you give me a second to bring the screen for all of you. Yeah. So this is a Microsoft portal. So I've logged in with a user account. Let me share another screen with you. This is a user screen. Let me come with the role. Yeah. So this is now I think I'll be able to perform this. So if you see this, this is a portal where we will be working. Let me sign out from this. Let me sign in with the admin account. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So here, if you come to this portal, now you can look for Microsoft Intra ID Protection. We have all these users. We have the list of the users available. And I want to protect all these users from various kind of risks, and I want to protect them. I can go to identity protection. I can look for this service. If you come to this particular dashboard, you will get the information, and that is very, very exciting information, that the number of attacks which are blocked in past 12 months, you will be getting that in this particular dashboard. You can select a certain attack and you can use it. This is a demo which I've created just for this today's session. If you see the number of users which are detected, you can see that the mean time to remediate the user risk, number of high user risk, all those things we have over here. And we can also export this dashboard. We can share this dashboard as well. Let me take you to the overview page. So in the overview page, if you see, these are the things which are coming. I can also see the identity score which is calculated. So I can see that secure score for identity. It is when it is updated. Now here you will get the comparison also based on the different companies which are using it. You can see the trend as well, and you can see the improvement actions as well which we can take to manage our infrastructure and to manage the secure score of the identities. I can see all user risk levels and I can configure the user risk policies. So this is the overview page where we can work on that. And here I can attach to the conditional access policies as I discussed. So we have user risk policy. So I can implement the user risk from this particular place. I can also create a sign-in risk policies, and I can also work on the multi-factor authentication registration policy. So let me take you back to there, and here the point I discussed, that we will be getting three important reports, that is risky users, risky sign-ins, and risky detection. And all it is happening automatically with the help of the automated methods which are there. Let me share my screen once again. Yeah. And we are here once again. So now we will be first understanding that how we can implement and manage the user risk policy. So here we can have sign-in risk policies and user risk policies enabled for users to automatically respond to the risk detection and also allow user to self-regulate. So here we have this admin, we reach to the center, we have seen that how we can work on that. So organizations must decide the level of risk, because every organization is having different level of capacity of taking the risk. So that we need to work on the organization level. We can also implement the MFA registration policy. So what is that is, now we see that the breaches which are happening. So we are giving a one extra layer of security in terms of giving multi-factor authentication. So where we are asking users to go for a various ways of authentication. So here this Microsoft Entra multi-factor authentication, it provides a way to verify that you are using more than just a username and password, and you are using OTP or whatever registered method you have for the authentication. And also it provides a second layer as I discussed with you, and the user will be able to respond to the MFA prompt, and they have to register for this. And why it is recommended from the Microsoft is that it delivers a strong authentication through a range of verification products and the options which are there. We can use, I'll just show you the things as well which we have. We can use FIDO2 security keys, we can use Microsoft Authenticator app. So this particular thing play a major role when you are preparing your organization to have the capacity to self-remediate the risk, the detections in the identity protection. So we will see this also in the demo live, that how we can work on that. And then we will monitor the thing. So let me take my screen, share, but let me show you the authentication methods which we have. So here we are not having any manual intervention. Everything is managed with the help of the algorithms which are designed. Let me show you this.
తను ఏదో పెట్టుకున్నది.
So if you see these authentication methods, these are the authentication methods which we can use uh, to give as an option to the users. 02 security keys, authenticator, SMS, temporary access pass. So all these things user can use to enable MFA. Whatever your organization allows or your organization is taking, we can even go and work on the uh, password protection as well. Like when we talk about identity protection, it is automatically in real time checking that if user is resetting the password or if user is adding a new password, that is coming under your policy or compliance or not. So I can also give a banned password list, which are the commonly used password like admin, default, 1234. So these are the common passwords which we see generally that the users are using. We can ban those passwords, and I think around 1,000 words we can use over here. Yeah, we can use up to 1,000 words in this particular bank password list, where we can have those commonly used passwords. So that is also helping us in preventing from the different kind of attacks which happen with the help of the password. So and we can also have a lockout, smart lockouts, like after 10 failed sign-ins, user will be logged out for these many seconds. So that also we can configure and manage. So that's not part of the discussion today, but I've just added it because it's coming over here. Let me take you back to the identity protection, and then we will see in the conditional access policy also how it is enabled. In all these processes automated, managed. So I'm not going and checking that my user are at risk or not. It is automatically showing me the reports. In backend, it is checking the sign-ins and all. So first, let's see the user risky policy. So here, this is the user remediation policy. So what we are doing is, we are selecting the users. Now, here also the question is, who all will be coming under the high risk, who all will be coming under the low risk or medium risk. It completely depends upon the organization, the roles you have given to the users, how a user is accessible to these kind of sensitive information of your organization. So all those things you need to consider when you are designing the risky policy for the user. Those who are at the high risk, those who are at the medium risk, and so on. So here I've selected these two users, Edelweiss. So I can select it for all users as well, and I can go for individual users as well. So let's say I'm selecting it for these two users. Okay. Now if you see, we have exclude option as well. So why this exclude is given over here? Because let's say some users are always traveling, or some users like admin, you want to exclude them from such kind of policies. So those users can be part of the exclude, and the user, those who want to cover in this particular policy, that will be coming under the include section. Here you can select I trust this user, I can allow this user to access, but that user needs to change the password. I'm not trusting anything, I'm just blocking the access to access. So it's completely up to that you want to manage this policy. Now here also, if you see, two options are given, enforcement or disable. Now in this case, if I'm disabling it, it means I've created it, but I haven't enabled it. But I'm just enabling this policy. So as I've already created it, it's already enabled. So I'm not changing anything. Similar to that, we can also create a sign-in risk policies. So in the sign-in risk policy, if we see, again, we have to select the users for which we want to keep track of the sign-ins, and for which we want to identify the risky sign-ins which are coming based on the various pointers which I discussed with you. So again, here we can have all users coming under this policy, or we can select the specific individuals for which we want to have the reports, for which we want to understand the behavior. And again, Microsoft is really amazing in giving such kind of facilities that it's very, very flexible. So we can include and exclude the users based on the requirement and based on the nature of the work. Now here again, we have three levels here. We have high, medium, and low risk, so we can manage it. And also we have access. So in that case, we have two options: blocking the access and requiring the MFA. Now, let me tell you this, that why we have these options available, because sometimes it happens that users are in the sign-in risk, but we can't block the access based on the designated job, based on the nature of the job, based on the role that user is performing. We can't completely block the access, but we have to make sure that the environment is safe, the identity is safe. In that case, for user risk policy, we will be asking the users to change the password. And in case of sign-in risk policy, we are allowing the access, but we are asking them to come through the MFA. In addition to the password, we are asking them to use the multiple factor of authentication for showing that it is a right identity and it is an authenticated identity trying to access the environment. And again, we can enable and disable the policy. This is how we can implement user risk policy and the sign-in risk policy, and our job is done. Now it's up to the algorithms, it's up to the Microsoft how in backend it is calculated based on the sign-ins we have, based on the logs we are generating from the various users, the type of resources they are accessing, the location they are accessing, they are using the net, which device they are using. So all those parameters are there. And also we have a multi-factor authentication registration policy. So if you see this registration policy, it is recommended that every user in the organization should go with this policy. This will also help us in completely making sure that the user and identities are safe from the common password based attacks. So here we can assign it for all the users, or we can assign it for a specified user as well based on the policies we are creating for the risk. So I'm not enabling it right now for all users. We can enable it for all the users in one go. And then we have the reports. Now, before showing these reports, let me take you to the reports which we have based on the sign-in and audits. So here in Entra ID, if you see, we have a monitoring option where automatically the logs are generated. If you see the sign-in logs which are coming over here, so these are the signing logs which are generated based on the activities I am performing. Now here I can, if I'll just open this, it is showing me the information, the basic information, the location. Now if you see the basic information, what is the request ID, what is the authentication method used, what is the status, username, user sign-in identifier, all those information which are we think as a basic information for the user is coming over here. We can also have location, from which location I'm logging in right now, that is coming. What is the device I'm using right now? What are the authentication details I have? So I can show these authentication things as well. And if I have enabled any conditional access policy, and if any policies for report only mode. So if you see all these kind of information, Microsoft is collecting with the help of the monitoring logs and giving to us, and based on these logs only, the sign-in policies and the user risk policies are working in backend and giving us the reports and detecting the risky behavior of the users, the patterns which is created. We have the audit logs as well, what all activity that user is performing. Yeah, so I can see these kind of information as well, that the user is doing the group management, role management. So all those activities which users are doing, every user, that is listed over here. I can again have option to download these reports and I can investigate it myself, or I can ask identity protection to investigate it for me so that I can identify that the user is at the risk or the sign in it, so that we can identify. I hope that this gives you a brief that how this sign-in policies are getting the data. It's getting the data from these logs which are created. I can take you back to the identity protection. And these are the reports which are created. The risky sign-in, I'm very happy that this account is not having any risky user. So I can have many filters to work with. So right now the risky label is high and I can apply it for all. I will get the details for all the labels which I have. I can again add the various filters as well in this, like user, based on the users, based on the username. So we have many flexibility to work on our reports when we talk that we have the facility to work on the risk policies. Then we have risky sign-ins as well. It's just checking that it's coming or not. So this particular feature is helping us in giving the reports for the risky sign-ins. Again, you can download, you can investigate, and if you have any third-party tool where you want to have one more level of investigation, you can export the data settings as well, and you can have this. And again, we need to have Azure subscription. For this, we can export this data as well, and the risk detections. So these are the 3 reports we have, which we can work and investigate. Let me bring my slide back to you all. So we were discussing about monitoring, investigating, and remediating risk. So this is the kind of a report is generated, which you can see over here, which we have seen just right now in the report, but I don't have the data to show you because this is the account which I've created for this presentation only. So every report is having all the detections and the period and everything is shown in this report. If you check this is the example of the risky users. What all users are at risk or have had risk remediated or have had risk dismissed. All the details about the detection, history of all risky sign-ins are coming. User, now in this, if you see, we have certain actions which can be performed, like reset the user password. We can confirm the user compromise. We can dismiss the user risk. We can block the user from signing in if we are thinking that still we are not coming out from the risk. We can investigate it further using the Azure advanced threat protection as well. And if we talk about the risky sign-in, which is not in this example, I was not able to take that. So risky sign-in are again classified as risk compromised or confirmed, or risk at the confirmed stage, or risk is dismissed or remediated. All these points similar to this is also coming when we talk about the risky sign-in. And then we can have the actions like we can confirm the sign-in, we can compromise or confirm sign-in state. Now, these are the following options which administrators are having, like you can self-remediate with risk policy, you can have manual password reset, you can dismiss the user risk, means we can allow users to self-remediate with Microsoft Entra multi-factor authentication and self-service password reset. It is not by default enabled. We have to enable this to make sure that we are giving the power to the admins to manage the risk at their level itself. So in the risk policy, we can unblock the users where we want to make them working on certain things. So identity protection, as we discussed, is helping us in automatically remediating this. And identity protection is used in expanding the tools to other services as well. So as I was discussing about this, so let me take you to the portal once again, and I'll show you that how conditional access policy We can enable for this risky things. Let me bring my screen back, and then we will understand this. So this is the portal where we were working. Let me open the cap from the Entra ID. Let me take you to the security portal. Here we go. Conditional access. Again, for conditional access, you should be having license. Let me open this new policy. If you're coming here, when you are creating a new policy, you can select the user. Let me close this. We can select the target resources. Here, if you see, we can select the conditions uh, based on which you will be controlling the access, and these conditions are user risk. This condition is sign-in risk, device platforms, locations, client applications, and you have any filters for the devices. So if we talk about user risk, you can have this conditional access policy enabled for the users, those who are at the high risk level. So I can configure this, and I can select that all the users, those who are coming under the high user risk policy, they will be coming under this particular cap. Now, when this policy is there, when the user is signing in or requesting any access, this will be also checked for giving the access. So this is how we can use the identity protection for such conditions. If we see the sign-in risk, we can also enable the sign-in risk, and it is going to be generated based on the real-time risk detection. I can again select the things like high, medium, low, and user at more risk. So I can create such kind of integration with the control access, a conditional access policy as well. So these are the things which I wanted to share with you all in the today's session. Let me bring my thank you slide for all of you for patiently attending this session. I know there are a lot more which we can discuss, but given a time duration, I thought that I'll give you a brief overview about the things which we have for Microsoft Identity Protection. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. This is a QR code which I have added in the slide. So feel free to reach out to me, and I'll really be feeling open for all of you where you need any help in your learning journey. So thank you so much once again. Take care and happy learning. Thank you so much, Global AI Summit team, to invite me for delivering this session and accepting my proposal for the talk. Thank you, Pratap and entire team. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Abhilasha, for joining this. Yeah, so we have lots of disturbances as well. So sorry for the interruption because so I need to conduct the two events at a time. So we have my friends and everyone is so I need to took the laptop from the other laptop. So I need to so this is the issue. So I need to at the same time I have to conduct the two events. So that's why there is a disturbance. Sorry for the inconvenience. And yeah, so Abhilash is unavailable. So she make one video on about this particular event. So if you have any queries, I mean so the total recording I have to put in the LinkedIn, I mean in the YouTube as well, and I would like to share it with you in the LinkedIn. So feel free to reach out and feel free to I mean recollect once, and you have to I mean you have to watch that video as well. But because this is the recording video I have to play, that is there is some disturbances as there, but I need to upload the original video in the YouTube as well. But then you can you have a better understanding of this video, and you have great chance of there is no disturbance. Okay, so I think so this is the end of the session. Now if you have any questions, please feel to reach out to the I mean Abhilasha Vyas. So she is the person, she will take care of this one. about this particular session, unlocking the security of Microsoft Extra ID and production advancement of the machine learning for the risk mitigation. Okay, so please feel to drop your queries to the Abhilash Avesh, and I would like to put this recording in the YouTube channel. Okay, by the end of the day or day after day tomorrow end of the day, I would like to put this recording and invite link into the description as well. Okay, so sorry for the interaction, there is any disturbance regarding this one. Okay, thank you so much guys. And YouTube channel name is the Innovation Tech Community. And one second, I would like to Innovation Tech Community. So this is the channel name, Innovation Tech Community. And give me a second, I would like to ping that LinkedIn as well. Sorry, YouTube. I would like to ping that URL as well. Give me a second. Mm, give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, one second. I just put that link as well. So this is the URL for this Innovation Tech Community, and feel free to reach out to the Innovation Tech Community. And so I would like to upload that video. Okay, don't bother about it. So you can reconnect that video once again. Okay, so if you have any disturbances and all. Okay, so thank you so much guys, those who are joining. So especially thank you Abhilasha for having me and into the Global AI Summit. So thank you guys, thank you so much.